Hey everyone, and it's me all the way from Scotland this time, not actually Bosnia. Of course, as most of you know, I've been away for 2 years in Sarajevo with OM, and I just got back here to Scotland in March. So this time I'm actually welcoming you from home in Livingston, although I haven't been able to see most of you physically lately. Of course, I haven't really been in the church building or a church building for months now. It's been Christmas or New Year since I was last in Dedridge. But of course, thanks to modern technology and all these things we have in Zoom and online, I've been able to keep a part of the church and the church family, both here in Scotland and Dedridge, and also my church in Sarajevo online. And that's been really helpful and really nice to still feel part of that community, even though I've not been able to see most of you or my other church family physically in person in the last few months. I've also been keeping up with my home group, and I was doing language study for the first month that I got back online, but that's mostly finished now. And I'm kind of adapting now on the transition side of being in Scotland for a few months and feeling more at home here. Although, of course, I haven't been able to adapt to normal UK Scotland culture and social life and work and all these things, but rather just being at home with my family and adjusting to lockdown like everyone else is. So my actual leaving Bosnia in March, I'd known it was coming up. Of course, my original commitment to OM was 2 years. And so I'd planned for my flights in April. We then had to change that to March when it became clear that lockdown rules were going to close down Sarajevo airport. And the whole thing in the end was quite dramatic and complicated. I don't have time to go into all the details now, but basically, in order to get past borders and through Zagreb airport as an overlay, I had to go through the British Embassy and we had to get all sorts of things worked out, and I was denied boarding for one flight and then got another one the next day, and it was a whole thing, but it worked out very well in the end. I'm very grateful for that, grateful for family and friends I was able to talk to and have support me and pray for me during that journey, and grateful in the end for airlines and borders, even though they made it difficult. But in the end, I was able to get through. And of course, looking back on my 2 years in Bosnia as a whole, it's been a lot, both good points and some challenging points as well. There's so much has happened in the last 2 years. Again, it's hard to put it all together. I've had newsletters and things, of course, over most of my time there, so hopefully most of you still have uh, those pieces of information of what I've been doing the last 2 years. But as I look a whole, it's definitely been a great thing for me in terms of my spiritual journey, in terms of a lot of things I've learned while I've been out there. And just the whole experience, both in the language and culture aspects. I'm doing really well with the language and hoping to try and keep that up with people I speak to out there. But also in terms of what I discovered as part of the church family out there and with the young people and just things that I didn't expect when I went out there. So definitely, while there has been challenges, of course, the overall experience has been an amazing one. So as I've been back in Scotland, I've been trying to adjust to living at home again, particularly with my family. Of course, I've been 2 years in Bosnia on my own place, and definitely there's an adjustment to not having as much independence as before, and responsibilities in some other ways, and just things being different in terms of general lifestyle and noise in the house and various things. So that's been a bit of an adjustment. But there's definitely positives as well to living at home. I mean, I get meals cooked for me and I'm looked after and made sure that I eat and sleep properly and those kind of things. But there's also obviously the challenge of not being as independent. And anyway, I wouldn't be able to go anywhere recently anyway. Even if I were living on my own, I wouldn't have had much time out the house because of lockdown. So in a sense, that's not really just because I'm living at home, but definitely those two things have come together as a thing to work out as I've been back here for 3 months now. Of course, a lot of you maybe be wondering what I'm planning to do next now that I've been back in Scotland for a few months. I'm wondering what I'm planning to do next. I'm still taking in a lot of the things that I learned while I've been in Bosnia, and I am thinking about the future ahead. Of course, it's been difficult to plan details a lot of the time because of the lockdown, because there's not many jobs going, there's not really much I've been able to do. But I am looking ahead now to hopefully studying postgraduate masters next year in most likely Glasgow University. I've been starting the application for that and working out student funding and all these things, which I need to find out at probably the end of the summer. I'll get a lot of things back about whether being accepted and hear back from the university and those kind of things. So I'm hopeful about that. Even if it doesn't work out this year, hopefully next summer I would be able to start then. And it would be either journalism or translation to go along those kind of paths, things that I've had some practice with, some experience with other people who work in those fields, and just generally the things I feel passionate about and the things I'm skilled in. So hopefully that will work out, but we'll see how that goes in the next few months, I guess. And I can appreciate prayer for that as well. In prayer requests generally, I think future, both wisdom and kind of just peace and comfort about the future, not being anxious, is definitely something that I would appreciate prayer for. Most of the student things, the application, everything is in the university's hands, and God knows what's going to happen with that. So whether it works out this year or not, or whether I end up doing a different course or have to get a job for a while before I study, just praying for peace and that things work out as they're supposed to, however that is, and that I would be comfortable with that, and yeah, hopefully that'll work out well. And also just generally for my kind of well-being and spirits, I guess, during this lockdown period. I had some health things going on before I left Bosnia. Nothing too serious, but it's just been a bit of adjustment being doctors there and then back in the UK. And of course, being stuck inside for a few months when all my friends are in a different country. And it's definitely been an emotional adjustment as well in terms of trying not to feel isolated or lonely. And I think that's a challenge a lot of people, a lot of young people especially, are facing during this period. So prayer for that would be appreciated. But otherwise, I hope you're all doing well at Edgeridge, and I hope that I can see you physically at some point and catch up, hopefully not too long in the future.